Hello, my lovely ladies. Welcome back to a new video. Have you noticed that consumerism, materialism is slowly or has already been changing? So many influencers that were really materialistic and were promoting, especially like buying designer goods, are nowadays not posting about them anymore, have completely changed, or are slowly admitting their mistakes, why they were so materialistic in the first place, and are completely making new videos. There's so many influencers like Caitlin Pykowski that I really loved following, and I still love watching her videos actually nowadays, but I also loved her during her very materialistic years. Sophie Sohat, really loved following her, and I think everyone knows Lydia Millen, Lydia something Millen. I really loved following her as well, but I love all of them actually right now even more. And there are so many more videos and influencers that I don't know about, of course, but these are one of the few that I used to follow now and then their mindset, which I think is amazing and very brave of them, has completely changed, and they were not ashamed to admit it, even though their whole channel and social media presence was around that. Sophie Sohat, I loved watching her come shopping with me videos, and she really admitted in a video one day that she isn't liking those brands anymore for what they used to be and what they were bringing her, and she admitted that she was addicted to shopping. And I think it's so groundbreaking and so beautiful, and I really love their videos even more right now, because what they were portraying and what they were showing, I don't think it was to show off or to brag. I really think that it was more to make an income, and they weren't people who were lavishly rich. In a way, they were just more regular people who had enough money. So they weren't like regular in the way of having a middle class income. They had enough income to buy designer items, but they weren't lavishly rich. So in a way, it was easier to kind of identify yourself with them, and it was easier to really see an item that they were showing, for example, that you would maybe like and also go buy, because they were more in the same kind of income tax as most as their viewers, or a little bit more. And it was easier because they were just regular people like us making videos and more honest, and it wasn't some crazy billionaire from Malaysia or something that was buying 20 Lady Dior's at the exact same time. So it was more easier to relate, and I really loved watching their videos, and right now I love watching them as well. And I think this big shift on social media, the big shift, especially after COVID, this whole mindset changed. I think COVID was really the point that made a lot of things turn the mindset of people. We would watch, influencers, celebrities showing a day cream, unboxing after unboxing. But after COVID hits, we all finally started to see that it's too much, that this consumerism is just crazy. There's nothing to look up to about that. There's nothing amazing about it. It's just crazy. You don't need 17 bottles of foundation. We all remember those beauty influencers 10, 15, maybe even 20 years ago that would have like these makeup drawers. They were so famous. Everyone wanted them, these makeup closets, makeup rooms, those vanities, and they were full with makeup. They had like a drawer or two drawers for foundation, a whole drawer with like MAC blushes and highlighters, a whole drawer with palettes. And usually they would have even more drawers with palettes, and it was crazy, and we all thought that that was great. Like, I remember watching those influencers, and I also wanted that. I also wanted a vanity with so many palettes, even though that was so impractical because I didn't even use that much makeup, let alone a palette with 60 colors, green, yellow, with 60 colors, green, glittery blue. Like, what were we even thinking? But the consumerism was real. I remember really getting into the whole Naked palettes back then, and I didn't have a lot of money to spare, but I remember really saving up money and buying, I think it was the Naked 2 palette. It's this palette, and the colors in that palette don't match my skin tone at all. It's just not for me. I don't know what it is, but I cannot do like these cool silverish ashy brown tones. For me, it needs to be very warm, so this would be more for me. And then after COVID hit, a lot of people weren't interested in those things anymore. They didn't really care about how much makeup palettes you had and another designer bag, because so many people were struggling, so many businesses failed, so many businesses were struggling. A lot of people who were wealthy got even wealthier, but a lot of people also lost their wealth or just really were struggling. They couldn't find a job, or they were jobless, or they were just sitting at home at minimum wage. So that really changed and shaped the mindset for what we are currently seeing. And the newer generations, they're just not that obsessive about things that they don't really benefit themselves. So they're more interested, they're still materialistic, but they're not materialistic in a way that they need to get really brainwashed to buy things that they cannot even afford. The luxury market is dipping year by year. Last year it dipped 346 billion, and the numbers in 25 are still not known yet because we're still a couple of months from the end of this year, but they are saying that there is going to be an even more decline between -2, -5% compared to last year's $356 billion. Since the 2000s, luxury market was just going up and up and up, and those were the years of supermodels, celebrities, you know, getting on Vogue, being the real influencers. And then the top influencer years were really the top years of consumerism, especially Instagram's really top years, the prime years of Instagram. Those were also the prime years of consumerism, and that is all declining, and I think that is great. But does that mean that, because I was talking about this the other day with some friends, I really thought, until they really talked me out of that idea, and I completely agree with them, I really thought that this whole materialism was just declining everywhere, that money was being spent less and less on materialistic items, and they completely disagreed with me. I disagreed with them until they told me their facts, and I had to agree with them, because what they told me is the whole show off of things that is declining. People are trying to show off less and less of their wealth because so many people are struggling. It becomes a pain in the eye, kind of a sore in the eye, and people don't want to brag anymore with their wealth. They're becoming more secretive, they're becoming more subtle, they're becoming more protective of their wealth and more smarter. People are not going to buy a $2,000, $3,000 old leather Gucci, I don't know what bag, just to show it to family, friends, or on social media that they bought it. They rather save that money and go travel, or buy a house, or, you know, put in something for the future, a savings account. Materialism is still very, very much active and very, very present, and it's growing every single year because money is growing, wealth is growing. More and more are achieving wealth compared to last year, compared to 10 years ago. Having a Chanel bag or having an Hermes bag especially is like your goal, your dream, and that is unachievable. And because it is unachievable, the lesser your income is, the more I also noticed that with people who have lower and lower incomes, they're still kind of looking to those items because it's still unachievable. But the more achievable it becomes and you get those items, I literally thought, is this it? Is this what I've been making so big in my head, a whole fuss about it? This is it? Is this my happiness? And I didn't feel anything, and I really thought that I was going to feel something. For example, pretend this is a designer bag. People you can impress with this designer bag are only people who don't have that much income. You're not going to impress people from a bigger, a higher, a very high tax bracket. I really noticed that when I talk to people from lower income tax brackets, the more they talk about these brands, the more they're interested in, the more there's still this need, that want, that wish for designer items. But the higher the tax bracket the person I'm talking to is in, the less interested they are in that thing. Of course, the country that they're from also plays a huge role, because the number one country, the whole world compared to the country, I thought it was the US, but it's actually South Korea. So South Korea, and then after South Korea comes Singapore. Those are the countries with the biggest amount of consumerism. And that is true because I still see that with my Asian friends. Everything they have needs to be a brand. I really want one day ask her, like, do you really need but they really like it, and for them it is so different. Their mindset, for them it is really like you made it in life, and they're still into that 2010 2015 type of mindset. Everything needs to be designer, and people there really treat you differently. She told me, like, hey, family, friends, when I go there, they really treat you accordingly from where your family is and the designer items that you're carrying. They really focus on that. But aside from those countries, I think that is slowly shifting, especially in Europe. People are carrying less and less, and they're more going to craftsmanship. I mean, a Chanel bag 20 years ago was made of great quality. The story, I mean, I love it. The story, the beautiful showrooms, the whole history of Coco Chanel, of Gabrielle. I mean, I have stories that I read to my daughter. I think it's beautiful, the craftsmanship, those beautiful items. I think it's so beautiful. Especially, I actually love the story and history of Christian Dior even more. But right now it's all, sorry, garbage. And they still want to portray that idea that it's all being sewn by hand by a beautiful Italian artist in a beautiful atelier in Paris or Milan. And everyone is now seeing through that. Everyone is seeing that those beautiful, they used to be beautiful designs and bags, they're now being sewn in I don't know what country for horrible wages, and children being overworked and being even abused and working on no food, no sleep, no water, just so they can sell that $20 bag for 3,000, 4,000, and in case of Hermes prices, I mean, you don't even want to know those prices. I mean, it's crazy. The whole thing, I mean, why were we paying for that brand in the first place? And they used to get away with it because people were still interested in just that logo. They didn't really care about the whole thing because it all happened so fast in the past 10, 15 years. It changed from an atelier, you know, very high fashion haute couture brand to this fast fashion Zara, H&M type of thing. It's becoming AliExpress. Super fakes from Turkey, they're the best, okay? They are better made than the real deal. They're of better quality than the real deal, okay? I have seen some crazy super fake Hermes slides. I have some Hermes slides. When I put them on and I go meet up with a friend who has super fakes on, hers look so much better. They're so much more durable. I'm going to show you a pair of real Hermes slides. One moment. So these are, I'm sorry, I didn't even wash them. These are my Hermes slides. I have other ones that, okay, to be honest, they still look better, but look at this. Look at how wrinkly the leather is. These scratches. It's horrible. Look. These, and when I put these on, and my friends put their super fakes on, I'm so ashamed. Mine look like cheap market shoes that I got for $5. I'm so ashamed to admit to my friends that I spend like so much money on these slides. Like literally when I wear these, I'm just ashamed. these have like this H logo, and it's obvious these are orange sandals. Just for that I spent so much money, and I haven't even worn these that much, so it's not like I've worn these over and over again. I think because the leather is a little bit different than the other ones. This is a very soft leather, but again, this should not be happening for the price that I'm paying for. I've made other videos as well about my bags, and these, like even with slippers, it's with everything. The quality is so declining and people are seeing through it. Also, those influencers that I talked about earlier, they are seeing that stupid bag that they've bought 5-6 years ago. It's no different from another ordinary bag. And usually that ordinary bag that is real leather from just a regular artist or from a very small brand, they're actually way better, less pricey, and way better quality. And actually those are right now the bags that have a beautiful story, or actually made in those beautiful ateliers that Dior and Hermes are pretending that they're still made at, which they're definitely not. Okay, we all know the crazy stories of Loro Piana, of Dior, of so many brands. Okay, they're trying to keep it away from the news, they're trying to keep it away from social media, but it's not what it is anymore. Every year, a certain sunglasses, a certain type of bag, a certain type of accessory is being pushed by social media. And right now, it's, for example, this Chanel bag. Is it beautiful? Yes. Did I want it? To be honest, yes. But is it worth that price? No, darling, definitely not. And we can do so much better. And I think a lot of people, when they see this bag, can they afford it? Yes. Will they buy it? No, because when they see the price of that bag, they think, hey, I can go on 3 amazing vacations at the most beautiful luxury hotels with my husband, with my kids, or I can put in a down payment for a beautiful apartment. Okay, people are slowly realizing that luxury and showing off, like, I mean, this is the most stupid amount of money that I've wasted. Like, I'm even ashamed to tell. I think my husband doesn't even know how much these costed, and I'm so ashamed. Like, I could have done way better. And this is a pair of slides, you know, life goes on. But I mean, there's so many things. Like, you could spend your money way better. And right now, I haven't bought anything designer in such a long time. I don't even remember the last time I bought something. I don't have the feeling anymore, the thrill anymore, and I'm so happy with where my life is heading. And do I regret a lot of purchases? Yes, I do. Am I able, especially with these slides, to get my money back on a lot of items? No, especially shoes and slides. I cannot even get 40% of what I paid for these shoes. I mean, they're in horrible condition, even though I've only worn them, I think, not even 10 times. So yeah, I think that will be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be seeing you in my next video. Bye.